Twin flame relatives. Well, can a relative of yours be your twin flame? Your mother, your child, your, I don't know, your brother? Well, if you've watched some of my videos, then you know that I'm pretty adamant about that there's different kind of divine counterpart connections. I want to talk about two main things in this video. One is that often twin flames get confused with other strong kind of divine counterparts or strong soul connections, but also a little bit about maybe why we want to label a specific person our twin flame, and we'll start with that. I do not have any children, but I do understand that when you have a child and you have this intense bond, I mean all of those hormones that are washing over your body right after birth, and then you have this intense connection with your child, and it's probably more intense than any other connection you have experienced so far, and you have just a lot of love for this little person that you created, you could say, and that needs you so much, and you love and adore that. And then there's hormones, and you just have this deep imprint in your genetics to really take care of that little bundle. And of course you feel this strong connection, you want everything that's best for that. I think the issue is that, of course, as a parent, your child is special, and it's of course the most special child there is in this entire universe. Your children, of course, are the best. I mean, that is programming, right? You were programmed to think that. Of course, sometimes that programming can be damaged because not every person should have children or is the nurturing type. There can be abuse between parent and children, of course, unfortunately. But the normal program is to absolutely adore that baby, that child of yours. And that in itself is absolutely wanted, and it is deeply ingrained in our DNA. But the problem can be that if you then learn about twin flames and you learn about this instant connection, the strong connection, the strongest connection you could possibly feel, I understand why some people would project that onto their children. Maybe even especially single moms, those who don't have anyone else, so they are even more imprinted on their child because they are the sole caretaker. But also, of course, if you are a couple, I know that there is this one, I want to say twin flame couple in quotation marks, because I don't get any twin flame vibes from those people at all, that seem to be big gurus on YouTube when it comes to twin flames, and they have a child and now they think they're triplet flames and that their child is their twin flame as well, and that child will never find true love because it is connected to their parents. So they found true love, but their child, of course, since it's a triplet flame, cannot find a divine counterpart, which is one of the saddest things I've heard on this journey so far. It is the idolization of that child, and again, I believe the idolization of your child is something that is natural, but to try to turn your child, oh my god, can you imagine that programming of that child growing up, hearing, oh, you are our twin flame, we are twin flames, and you are our, I don't know, triplet flame, and that child is growing up with the belief that they will not find true love, or that specific strong kind of love that parents have. That kid is going to have a very hard time as an adult due to that kind of programming in early childhood to find true love. So I think it can actually be quite damaging to tell your child, oh, you are my twin flame, and then that child one day maybe is going to Google and then is going to think, oh, okay, that is the strongest love, and then there is the program that they will not find true love because mommy already is true love or daddy already is true love. That does not sound as something that is very healthy, to be honest. So I think the misconception of your child being your twin flame is because it is a strong connection, and then when you learn about strong connection and you read that twin flames are the strongest, of course I do understand why people would automatically go there. Yes, my child is my twin flame. But they're not, because twin flames are a strictly romantic connections between, I don't want to say man and woman, because there can be homosexual twin flames, of course, as well, man and woman and woman, and I don't know, non-binary and whatever it is, right? It's between two adult people that have this romantic bond. We must not forget that twin flames usually have very strong plutonic connections in their synastry chart. Why? Because Pluto is the planet of transformation, of healing, of ascension, you could say. And twin flames trigger ascension in one another. But Pluto is also the planet of sex. So twin flames usually have a very strong sexual attraction. I mean, we don't want to talk about incest. Definitely not. But twin flames usually have a very strong sexual attraction. And then labeling your child a twin flame, I don't like it. That could be problematic, especially for that child growing up, being programmed in that kind of way. Another thing is, when we just not talk about, like mother and child, my child is my twin flame, but a relative, there is another kind of soul connection that is called soul twins. I know in the American or English speaking community, they're not really that, for lack of a better word, educated, but it's not a good word when it comes to different kind of soul connections. In other countries, there is more differentiation between soul connections. As in German, we do have the twin soul, twin flame, and a soul twin. A twin soul and twin flame to me is basically the same thing. A twin soul, you are a twin soul, and once you meet your twin flame and that spark ignites and you go onto the journey, that the ignition turns a twin soul into a twin flame. So it's basically just before you met and after you met, that once that spark ignited, the fire is on, but it's the same thing. But a soul twin, I talk about that more in depth about my long video about different kind of soul connections. But a soul twin would be a soul that has a very, very similar vibration to you. It's very similar. So you would see yourself in the other person. And when we talk about everyone is you pushed out, basically everyone is one of your soul connections, you could say. Some we do feel more intense than others. And a soul twin can be a very, 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 very intense connection. Usually it is a very harmonious one. However, if you have unhealed shadows, yes, that can be triggering, of course, as well. But a soul twin, usually a lot of trines in synastry, a lot of trining, flowing energy. So it's not this strong, intense journey usually as we do have in twin flame connections. A soul twin, just carries a very similar frequency. And if you watch the other video, I work with the color wheel, color spectrum. A twin flame, a split twin flame would be the opposite of the color spectrum. A monadic twin flame exactly the same color as you. And a soul twin would just be the nearby color, one soul that holds a lot of the same frequency. And you can feel like twins in some way because they're so much like you. However, they're not your soul. You usually share an oversoul, yes, but the split has happened before a twin flame split would have happened. So a soul twin is just, very, very similar frequency. We would recognize someone, of course, and they feel like ourselves. I met a soul twin, and it was my first catalyst on this ascension journey, awakening journey, you could say, when I was 19. And when I then encountered twin soul, that word, for the first time, I resonated with that twin aspect because he was so much like me. We even looked a lot alike. I remember I had a friend saying, "Are you sure that your father didn't have like an affair and he had another child and that guy is actually like your half brother," or something like that? We had very similar interests. There was a lot of sameness going on, and there was instant recognition. There was instant soul recognition. I met that guy and I would have married him the next day, and that is nothing that was typical for me because I was very much guarded always. And as a teen, I was way more rational than emotional. I didn't believe in love at first sight, and then it happened to me. And he was really a catalyst for me to research about what the hell is going on with me. And that is why I understand why soul twins can be confused with twin flames, because they can put you on this journey. They can bring some awakening. They can have this instant soul recognition that you've never felt before. But the journey still is a little bit different from a twin flame journey. However, twin flames, you have one twin flame. Well, if you are a rare monadic twin flame, you may have had the split twin flame experience. So in that case, you may have two, whereas the split twin would be like a catalyst. I don't like the word fast twin flame. To me, a fast twin flame would be you label somebody a twin flame falsely and they're not, whereas a catalyst is someone you think is like your person, and then there is no toxicity going on, and then you realize, oh my god, they were not. They were the preparation for that real guy, and you have gone through all of the healing and awakening with them, and then you could draw in the monadic twin flame. So some people call it a catalyst, and I like that term, catalyst twin. But a soul twin can be a catalyst, definitely. And whereas you only have one twin flame usually, again, there may be very, very rare reception with monadic twin flames, you can have multiple soul twins. And soul twins, they can be related to you. I remember that man I mentioned that I met when I was 19, he reminded me a lot of myself and my brother. He was like an in-between of me and my brother. My brother and I, we used to be a lot alike. Later, we took different paths. I mean, I've always been on the spiritual path. We are not a lot alike anymore. We used to be very, very, very close. I saw him as a soul twin, definitely. When I realized that this kind of soul connection exists, I immediately know it was him. Your best friend can be your soul twin if you have a best friend that's a lot like you and you share interests and you think a lot alike. Family members, friends, they can be soul twins too. Soul twins do not necessarily have to be romantic connection. They don't always put you on a spiritual journey, but they can. For me, the first guy when I was 19, he definitely did. He was the reason why I started meditating to find out more, why I started channeling spirits to find out more. He was really someone that opened me up to that spiritual possibility. So if you experience that, but you don't really resonate with the twin flame and that deep purging, you may have encountered a soul twin, and congratulations, because that is a beautiful connection. Some people just think twin flames are the best. I mean, yes, very intense connection. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But that doesn't make a soul twin any less. Maybe your soul twin is your divine counterpart, is your forever person romantically. Yeah, so if you experience something like that with a relative, it's not a twin flame. There is a good chance that it might be just a catalyst, a karmic, if it's more a negative connection, or if it's very harmonious, you're very much alike, it might be a soul twin. But twin flames, they are not related. I hope I cleared this up. If you want to know more about that, check out the video on different types of divine counterparts. It's one of my earliest ones I ever made. It's like 2.5 hours long, and I really talk in depth also about the astrology indicators on different kind of soul connections, but also what they feel like. I use examples like how they are created and the color wheel. So there is a lot of in-depth information in that video. If it helped you, please help me by liking, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, sharing this video for other people that might be interested. If you liked it a lot and you want to leave a little tip, my PayPal is below. And I do see you in another video or in a personal coaching. And till then, as usually, I wish you all the best now. Bye bye.